Nice view, isn't it? I'm sat on the side of Offers Dyke and I'm towards the east of Clun in S.W Shropshire, and Clun's kind of behind that hill over there. So why am I here? Well, I'm slap bang in the middle of a Silurian complex, and in this case it's the Clun Forest Formation. And the Clun Forest complex is a mixture of dolomite and sandstone and some mudstone as well, and there's a few other formations associated with it, such as the Knuckles sandstone and the Bailey's Hill sandstones as well. And all of these are Silurian, covering most of the Silurian period, similar to what we saw in the previous episode with the Silurian rock in the southeast part of Shropshire in the main sequence. Now in the southeast of Shropshire, the bedding planes are tilted at an angle as a result of the Caledonian orogeny, so it's quite easy to see the escarpments and the dales and the different rock formations that are spread out over several kilometres across the county. Here in the Clun Forest area, it's not quite as obvious, as there's far fewer exposures. Most of them are the result of human quarrying activity or road cuttings, things like that. But it gives you an idea of what the kind of landscape that the dolomite and sandstone landscape will give you, and it's these fantastic rounded yet steep-sided hills, these wonderful little valleys and dales. On a day like today, it's a great place to look at the county. Now there are a number of large hill complexes here. The Clun Forest is only one of them. There's Black Mountain and Long Mountain being two of the other key ones. And they're all of a similar age. They're all covering most of the Silurian period. And they're all of a similar formation as well. They're all a mixture of dolomites, limestones, calcareous sandstones. So what does it tell us about what Shropshire was like during the Silurian period? When we combine it with what we've got elsewhere in the county and the country, what we've got is the beginnings of the Caledonian orogeny taking place. And if you remember from the Devonian episode, what was happening during the Caledonian orogeny is we've got the merger of three continents. From the northwest, we've got Laurentia coming in. From the northeast, we've got Baltica. And from the southeast, we've got Avalonia. Now, Avalonia, the coastline for Avalonia, was around where the Mifflin Hills are in Gloucestershire. Okay. And what we've got in Shropshire is a successive series of sediments being laid down upon a continental shelf just off the coast. Yeah. And what we've got around some of the older hills in Shropshire, the Ordovician stuff and the Precambrian Long Mind, is we've actually got part of a coastline from a series of islands. And there is some evidence of what used to be the old sea cliffs and sea stacks from the Ediacaran age of the Precambrian, with the Silurian sediments brushed up right against it, as if laid down by the sea. What we've got as well with the rest of the county, with these successive layers of sandstones, limestones, mudstones, what we've got is a successive series of sediments being laid down upon that continental shelf as the water gets progressively deeper as it heads towards the northwest. And once we get to places like the Clee Forest area, we're actually going into more of an anaerobic part of the ocean. So hence why we've got dolomite here rather than limestone. So how do we know that we've got this continental shelf? Well, the fossils that we find, a lot of them are shallow water organisms. Coral can only exist in relatively shallow water. It requires sunlight. We find shallow water trilobites, shallow water brachiopods and bivalves, and as we head towards the northwest, we get deeper ocean organisms, deeper ocean shell creatures and graptolites. So what happens as the Silurian progresses is that the Iaptus gets smaller and smaller as the Avalonia moves northwards, closing that gap and tilting the landscape and pushing a lot of these Silurian sediments above the ocean. They then get covered by the layers of Devonian sandstone, which then partly gets eroded away again. And as time progresses, we end up with the landscape that we see here today. And this whole landscape really records the last days of a dying ocean, an ocean called the Iaptus, which was the body of water that existed between Laurentia, Baltica and Avalonia. In the next episode, we're going to progress backwards further in time into the Ordovician rocks in Shropshire. If you thought the Silurian system was a little complicated, you haven't seen nothing yet.